Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today, let's talk about the 7 things rich people do that poor people do not do according to Exact Tech. I am going to share you some of the secret that I have learned and used, and it's fruitful. I received some pretty positive results. So to become a rich person or a performer, you must do things that rich people do, not what poor people do. I'm sorry to say, and perhaps this might insult somebody or someone out there and might take it personally, but my friend, do not be shy from learning from how the rich people act, how they interact with other people. Okay? So there is 7 things. The first, or number 1, rich people read book about succeeding. Book contains a well of idea for tiny price, but you have to read to understand them, right? So rich people constantly educate themselves by reading books. The top America CEO read 50 books per year, okay? So the average American read 1.5 success books per year. How many do you read? Can you recall? Or have you ever read book about being successful at all? I have to admit that I'm one of the laziest person to read book. Later on, however, I have read a lot of newspaper, being a newscast, doing something on my podcast. I am constantly reading newspaper and everything else. So reading book is not it's not difficult anymore for me. I used to go to school and while I'm attending college, I would be using the technique called skimming and speed reading to cheat on reading the book. Of course, I've never got an A out of reading a book, but I've never short than a B, and I thought that was the best. The reason that I skim reading, which means I only read like the first couple of pages in a paragraph, and I read in the middle of the passage or the chapter, and then I read the end of the chapter, and that's how I got past the test. I have to admit right now, I could have done better in school. That's about reading. Number 2, rich people sacrifice the present for the future. You see? So you have to invest today in order to get to the future. They invest time and money into the future. For example, they invest time and money into education. They're planning their careers and their value. They spend their nights improving themselves, their career, and their businesses. They face their problem. They not run away from their problem. Poor people, however, like to take it easy and enjoy the present. They watch a lot of TV or entertainment, news, sports, socializing online, stay on their Facebook. They also play video game, go party, travel a lot, eat, drink, and be happy. If it helped them to escape from their problem, they'll do it. That is how poor people act. Well, I have to admit, I'm one of them. I love TV drama, especially Korean TV drama. I used to watch them all night until like 4 a.m. And then I have about 2 hours sleep before I start next shift of my work. And when I get to work, I tell you what, I was so tired. I couldn't even do my job just because I invested my time watching those drama or TV drama because I love them. I enjoy them so much. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. You should enjoy and you should be happy. You should read news. You should listen to things. but you listen to things that will help you instead of just entertaining yourself nonstop. That is a bad idea. Number 3, rich people believe they are responsible for their own fate. So rich people don't blame others of their problem. They believe the problem that they face is their problem, and they have to find a way to solve the problem. Overall, 85% of millionaires and billionaires are self-made. You see? Okay? They did not inherit their money. Well, some inherit, but majority of them, 85% of them, made their own money. Have you ever asked your friend or yourself? And often people would say, well, I'll do it when I hit a lottery. I wish I hit a lottery, you see? And how many people actually hitting a lottery and become rich? There are one in many billion people, one of a billion people, maybe will hit lottery that earn enough money from the lottery winning to become rich, but not many of them actually do that, okay? So poor people expect others to save them. You see? They blame others for their problem. They wish and hope someone will come along and give them their wealth. Or they hope and wish that someone will come along and rescue them and take them out of their own miseries. My friend, don't wait for other people. You have to deal with your problem with yourself, by yourself, and you have to own your problem and own your own fate. You see? Therefore, rich people believe they have a responsibility for themselves. Number 4, rich people set financial goals. For example, retire at age 55 with no debt, a nice house, and $1 million in savings. That is the goal, right? You don't have to have this wonderful and high goal, but you have to have some goal. You have to set an example. You have to set a goal. Rich people, they figure out how much money will they need to save each year and each month to reach their financial goal. Have you ever thought about saving? Have you ever thought about how much money can you save? Well, a lot of people said, I can't save money because I barely made it enough to just pay my bills, and I'm living paycheck to paycheck. You see, 80% of people think exactly like that and say, well, there's no way I can ever save enough money to retire. Well, rich people think differently. They believe they can save money. Regardless of how much you earn, they still find some way to save money. So that one day, if you don't get $1 million in your saving, how about you get, your 10% of that, like 100,000, maybe 25% of 250,000 is better than nothing at all, my friend. Once they set their goal for rich people, they write them down and put them somewhere they can see them each day. You see, this exactly what I told my wife about 2 years ago. I wrote $250,000, 250, 000. I want to make sure that I write them big enough. I said to my wife, look, in the next 2 years, I'm going to make $250,000. And you know what she said? How are you going to do it? We barely made enough to pay our bills. Between your income and my income, that's all we could do. How in the world could you possibly do that? I said, well, I read a book called The Secret, Top Secret. Have you ever read that book? The Top Secret. And it said that if you want something in life, if you can imagine it, make it imagine. You can make it happen. You can see and and visualize it, and then you can make it happen, my friend. And I did it. I did it in 2 years. I'm happy to tell you today that I did it. I'm not saying that you can too, but my friend, that's how rich people usually start. And I didn't believe that in a second when I put that up on the wall. And I still have that money right on my wall. Actually, I'm going to take a picture and maybe I'll put in here for you. And that was like 2 years and maybe 2.5 years ago. I don't know. Okay. So for rich people, my friend, for example, a sticky note. You can write a sticky note behind a bathroom mirror or in your bedroom, and or a big maybe board next to your hallway or somewhere. Perhaps write something in your wallet. Every time when you open up your wallet, you'll see what you have wrote down, what your goal was, and that will remind you constantly that thing you need to do in order to accomplish your goal. Now, on the other hand, poor people have no financial goal. They do not see a point of doing anything like that because they barely make enough to pay their bill. And I am too. I am barely make enough to pay my bill, but I set aside a time and a goal that I think I could do. And my friend, it's not easy, but it's doable. It's possible. Number 5, rich people focus on their health. You see, they exercise, they eat good food, they label and control their urge, they get yearly checkup, and they follow their doctor advice. Now, how many people do actually doing that? I have to admit, I was really sick back in 2012, and man, oh my, I didn't think I was going to recover and back to myself like today at all. 2012, can you believe it? And I saw many specialists, and those doctors advised me that they have done everything under their expertise, and that it came down to like they couldn't find exactly what's going on. And one of the doctors I saw at UC David advised that I need to take care of myself, that I'm exhausted, that I work too hard, and I don't know how to manage my time. And I told him I'm constantly busy and I work 2 jobs and all of that. He like, well, I don't know how to tell you this, but you have to take care of yourself. And guess what? I worked less since 2012, around 2014 and 15. I start to slow down and I start to focus. I start to do things that I believe will benefit myself, For rich people, they also know good health means more energy and a longer and happier life. Do you believe that? Okay. Now, on the other hand, poor people eat unhealthy food. They hate doctors. They ruin their body with sugar and salt. And I'm sorry to say, but overweight. Okay. So a lot of us, including myself, working in an office, working in a job that you sit all day, getting overweight is inevitable if you don't exercise. But I tell you what, I have been way better than what could happen if I did not take good care of myself. I have to tell you, back in 2012, when I was really sick, my friends and my wife took me for a walk, and I could hardly walk about 20 feet, okay? And I constantly take a break. And they push me, and I tell you what, about 2 to 3 months after that, I was able to walk 2 miles in about 15 minutes to 17 minutes. It wasn't medicine that cured me. It was the walk. It was the exercise that cured me. And my friend and I keep doing that until this day. Okay? Now, number 6. Rich people spend time with successful people. So the same thing here. Rich people spend time with successful people. They love to learn what other rich people have learned and are happy to share their lesson. Do you know how many people actually happy to share their ideas with you? Rich people, yes, of course, many of them are greedy, and you look from the outside, they are terrible and greedy, and all they do is about monies, and they don't care about anything else. Not necessary. Many rich people actually happy to share their ideas, how they become rich, how did they become who they are. If you hang around successful people, the idea is you get inspired and motivated, and that will motivate you to move forward. Now, on the other hand, for poor people, they hang around with poor people. Okay, that pretty much poor people reinforce their bad belief when you hang out with poor people, with people who have no motivation to move forward or improve their life. All you will hear from those people are negative things, negative this, negative that, bad this, bad that, whoever do this, and all you hear are all the rumors. Everything else around them are all negative. The only good thing about them is happy, fun, and entertaining. Do you want that? If you want that, then you're welcome to do that. But what I'm teaching you today from the lesson I have learned is that you have to hang around people who want to do good for themselves, okay? Now, number 7, last one, okay? People use their credit wisely. You know that? Now, how many times that my relatives ask me to co-sign a car and or do something for them using my credit, and they end up not paying. They did not pay their loan, and I ended up either fight with them so that they could pay, and or I ended up just pay it out for myself to protect my credit. Now, when they use credit for rich people, they buy things that pay off in the long term, like their education, their new business, their long-term improvement. They only buy useless things with their extra cash. Okay, now they don't use credit to go and wreck up their car or wreck up their credit card, buy all the things that they could do because they have credit. No, they don't do that. If they're going to buy useless thing, they use cash. They don't have cash, they don't buy them. If they're going to do anything, they use the credit for business purpose, for investment, for something that they'll get something in return. Now, on the other hand, poor people use credit to buy expensive phone, clothes, tickets, travel, expensive gift, and so on for their friends and family and the people they love. Of course, you could do that. But the idea that I'm teaching you today, and I hope you learn something from this 7th thing, is that if you want to improve your life and move forward from this point of your life, I don't care how old you are or at what age you may be. Now, the lesson that we learned together today from this 7th thing that people do as a rich people and they don't do as poor people is that I want you to carry something important with you to move forward, that you have a full potential just like anyone else in the world. Regardless of your education, regardless of your status, you have an opportunity to do better for yourself starting today. If you keep doing what you're doing or you keep hanging around with people who think negatively about their futures, you will end up in that pile of people. If you think positively, if you want to move forward positively with the rich people, yes, my friend, I tell you what, you set your goal today, and 3 years from now, you will come back and write to me. My name is Ted Vang. My email is tedvang@gmail.com. Let me know how you do. Thank you for watching, and thank you for listening.